2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire functioned as the world's only superpower. Backed by a military machine that had no equal, they exercised absolute dominance over the known world. They maintained control through a policy of total erasure. Defying the emperor didn't just end your life, it resulted in your family's destruction and the removal of your name from every public record. This created a society where power was synonymous with divinity. The wealthy elite claimed God was on their side, while the sick and the poor were treated as human refuse, discarded in the streets to be forgotten. Dismantling a regime built on such absolute ruthless power demanded a strategy that ignored every traditional rule of war. It required the most improbable rebellion in human history. But the man at the center of this uprising didn't look like a soldier. He carried no sword, commanded no cavalry, and wore no crown. His name was Jesus. He was a carpenter from Nazareth, a village so small and insignificant that contemporary sources treated the town as a running joke. Viewing this story as purely religious overlooks the immediate political danger. By stepping into the public eye from such a humble position, this laborer was initiating a conflict where traditional weapons were useless, a direct challenge to the empire's psychological and social control. He began his campaign by shattering the empire's social hierarchy. He walked into the gutters, physically touched the people the state had discarded as unclean, and healed them. He looked at the broken and the outcasts and told them that the kingdom of heaven belonged to them, effectively telling the Roman elite that their power was illegitimate. Word spread because he wasn't just speaking, he was overriding the laws of nature. He walked on water. He commanded violent, churning storms to snap to a dead, glass-like standstill. The logistical scale of his influence became undeniable when he fed a crowd of thousands using only a child's small lunch. These feats shifted public loyalty so effectively that the masses prepared to crown him king. A local carpenter had evolved into a legitimate threat to Roman national security. The religious elite and Roman authorities recognized the signs of an imminent revolution. Fear took hold of the establishment as they saw their grip on the people slipping away. They had to stop him, but his massive popularity made a public arrest impossible. Taking him in daylight would have sparked an immediate violent uprising in the streets. They resorted to a covert operation, paying one of his closest friends 30 pieces of silver, the standard price for a slave, to hand him over in the dead of night. The fact that the rulers of the known world had to use bribery and midnight treachery reveals how much they feared an unarmed man. After an illegal midnight trial, they beat him until he was physically unrecognizable. The authorities then used psychological manipulation to turn the crowds. Within hours, the same people who had cheered for him were screaming for his execution. They nailed him to a cross, Rome's ultimate weapon of terror. It was a machine designed to make the process of dying as slow and agonizing as the human body could endure. With his final, agonizing breath, the solid earth violently shook, and the bright midday sky turned entirely pitch black. To finish the job, the regime sealed his body in a tomb with a massive stone and posted elite Roman guards to ensure he stayed there. His followers fled for their lives. The establishment declared victory. The rebellion was over. 3 days later, women went to the tomb to mourn. They found the massive stone rolled away, and the elite Roman guards paralyzed with fear. The Roman execution machine had failed. The tomb was completely empty. By returning from the grave, he proved that neither the absolute might of the empire nor death itself possessed the power to crush him. This event turned terrified runaways into an unstoppable force that spread his message to the ends of the earth. Today, the Roman Empire is nothing but ruins and dust. As this timeline shows, his influence did more than survive, it surged. With billions of followers today, he succeeded in splitting history in two. This 2,000-year-old rebellion is still changing lives today. What do you believe happened at that empty tomb? Let me know in the comments. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.